y'all can hear me. Hello, hello. Hi. I hope y'all can hear me. I'm worried about my earphones. I was having some technical difficulties. Okay, I got a heart, so I'm thinking that's good. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Okay. So sorry, I was a minute late. I was having difficulties with my earbuds. I know. I
A
know.
whole minute? Mel's.
You know I do not. You know I don't like to be late.
You
Okay.
know, I almost texted you and was like, can I have an extra 5 minutes?
Ah! That's our usual MO, in case anyone is wondering.
Always on the same page.
Yeah. Well,
S-
before we get started, I have to show you this awesome shirt I picked up today.
Yeah.
Support your local coven. I
I
love
knew it had to be something
it.
AHS because I saw the text and it's a
Yeah,
giveaway. Yeah.
that's
That's so
true.
cool.
I thought I was being so sly by having this, and then I was like, oh, it's definitely in the American Horror Story font. So what are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Where'd you get
Okay, I actually found it at Spirit Halloween.
it? It's open for you?
Oh, girl, yes, it's been open
Oh.
August 31st, I think. And like, so
Oh.
James loves Halloween. And I mean, like, we count down to when it opens. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're still obviously following like COVID protocol. So we get in there, we just kind of look around, and if you want, we pick a couple things out and leave. So, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Did he get anything yet? Does he know what he's going to dress for the occasion?
This year, I think he's going with the trusty Ghostbusters again.
Ooh,
I,
nice.
I'm just gonna let him have it. And yeah, so and I picked up all of my things for my Halloween Twin Peaks inspired costume. And then
Yay.
yeah, which and shopping in there, I call it normal wear, which people are probably like, that's not normal wear, but I'm like, for me it is. So
I think it's normal.
awesome. And then today I have on my Captain Spaulding headband, in case anybody was wondering.
Very
So,
cute.
yeah.
You have such a great collection of headbands.
I love them. I
How
can't
many
help it.
headbands do you have? You don't want to tell us?
No, I sure don't.
Will you tell me later?
I'll go ahead and say upwards of 20. Let's just put it that way. So,
Okay.
yeah, that's not
I
that.
don't think that's so bad. No.
No, but the
I
problem is I
mean,
can't stop.
that sounds like you. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. That's totally me.
Okay, super random question, but since
Mhm.
we know that you and I are so similar and tend to be on the same page about so many things, I wanted to know when you eat a burger or even a sandwich, how many napkins do you require?
I don't know, like
Oh,
maybe
okay.
two,
Okay.
maybe. Yeah, I don't require that many because I'm not a messy
Okay.
eater.
All right. I'm very messy when it comes to
Oh
sandwiches and
man.
burgers. I was eating a sandwich for dinner tonight and I thought I should just get in the habit of like washing my hands in between bites because I am wasting so much paper towel. I have
I
to go
love
back many
it.
times.
Okay, hear me roar. I don't know if I'm gonna be Nadine or not. You'll have to see. So we're
I
just gonna
mean,
leave it at that.
I think we might know, but
No, you don't know no. No, honestly, I I have this weird thing with like messy face mouth thing, and so
yeah,
I know, like, I carefully and delicately eat things,
fair.
and I don't require napkins that often.
That's
So
fair. Yeah.
yeah.
Anything else, I'm exactly the same. And you like if I'm eating with people, I mean, apart from Tyler, then I'm clean and tidy. But if I'm by myself, it is sloppy, gooey mess. Like I need a spoon to pick up the condiments that have fallen off.
Okay, I will say, yeah, like if I have a sandwich that has a lot of like I like pickle, I like a lot of things like pickles,
Yeah.
olives, peppers, and so yeah, if those fall off, I will eat those. But yeah, for the most part, I let it fall. I don't try to like whatever
All
face
right.
that was. You
All
know what I
right. Well, I
mean?
guess we can't be the exact same in every single way.
No. Also, you're gonna have to excuse me. I had a sneeze little fest earlier, so I need to dab my nose with my Subway
Is that a
napkin.
Subway napkin?
Yes, it is. Eat
Good.
fresh, Subway.
That's
So
right.
those are my note taking.
Ooh, we have somebody that's saying hello from Norway.
Oh,
Hello. Thank you
hi.
so
Oh
much
my
for joining
gosh. That
us.
is so exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Also,
Yeah, thanks to everyone that's here.
yeah, absolutely. A couple more things. Probably can't tell it on here, but I do have a light purple shimmer shadow on, and I'm gonna let you guess the name of this shadow.
It's a light purple.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it's mauve something.
It's wisteria.
Oh, of course.
Had to have
Duh.
it. Had to have
Yeah.
it.
I'm still searching for updates on that, but
Oh
I don't
no.
think we're getting anything anytime soon.
No, no. Also, I'm drinking out of my. So Scott actually brought this home and gave it to me as a gift today. I fucking love my
Amazing.
assholes.
Amazing.
So,
Oh, what are you having?
so it's like a citrusy. It's a weird color, and so there's a
Yeah, it looks
local.
green.
Yeah,
Looks
there's
like
a.
you're drinking like some sort of super villain from a comic like mixture. I don't know.
I am. I'm drinking like alien brains. I don't know.
Hmm.
No, there's this little local bar, but since COVID, they haven't, been open. But what they've been doing is selling their like kind of curated beers and like beverages that you can go by and pick up.
Yeah.
So we just did like a random order, and it says it's some type of cider, but yeah, the color threw me off, but it's really good.
Yeah, it's very green.
Yeah, it tastes like pears, but it's not a
Ooh.
Smirnoff. So I don't want y'all thinking I'm up here like slamming like doing the Smirnoff Ice Challenge or
We
anything like
wouldn't
that.
judge you. We wouldn't judge you.
My husband's birthday dinner was planned for
I
tonight, and
love
if
this.
I okay, my hero, I love
Yeah,
it.
that's amazing. You're a real one. Thank you for being
Yeah,
here. Thank you for
most
having an early bird
definitely.
special.
Yes, I love it. I love
All
it.
right. Well, let's cheers and let's dive in.
Oh, yep.
Clink
Cheers.
clink.
Clink clink.
And cheers to everyone that's here and everyone that's watching later and everyone that's maybe listening later.
Yeah, thank you,
I
thank you,
don't
thank
know. I
you.
think the audio quality, it makes me sad when I upload it to our podcast feed, but if it's an
I
easier
know.
way to listen, I'm here for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's do this. American
Let's
Horror
do
Story,
this.
Season 10, Episodes 3 and 4.
I mean, right off the bat, when you shared the story about like what is the magic sauce for this season, because I'm here to tell you, like, we're in episode 4 now, right? I
Yep.
mean, we're almost halfway there, and we know about the curse that usually happens. I can only see it getting better from here, I'm being honest. So,
I am so nervous. Like, I
well,
just keep waiting for it to get bad. And technically, if Red Tide is 6 episodes, then we are at like, we're rounding the corner towards the end of this season, right?
right,
So this
right,
is where it should get bad, technically, like based on prior seasons. But
right.
yeah, I'm like, what is going on? Like,
Gosh,
writers, directors, showrunners, all the same. There's
I,
nobody new on the team, as far as I can tell. Even the composer is the same one that they've had since Freak Show.
yep,
So, like, is it the set of actors that we have this time around? Because we've never had quite, like, we've never had this exact ensemble. So maybe
yeah,
they're bringing a different energy. But, like, the confidence in this storytelling, like, the way that they've just been able to hold back, like, don't go over the top on this one, because I can see moments where they could just go overboard and they're not doing it. And
yeah.
I'm just so impressed.
Me too. And I mean, honestly, it was a half joke, half not joke. I don't know if that's because Evan Peters and I can't remember if Sarah Paulson is a producer on this season as well.
She is, but I think she's been a producer before.
Okay,
I
okay,
don't know about Evan.
okay. But I mean, I'm just gonna chalk it up to his amazing abilities. We'll just leave it at that.
I mean, it's quite possible. Like when you have different people at different levels of your team that are bringing their experience from prior seasons, I mean, I wouldn't be super surprised if some of the people were like, hey, this is word on the street for like the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Maybe we should cut back over here, do this thing a little bit differently. But yeah, whatever they're doing, it's fantastic. Like everything is even okay. I know we're not there yet, but episode 4 is the classic cliche American Horror Story flashback episode. And even that was good.
Was fantastic. I
Yeah.
love this comment. This season is much more serious, less campy. I agree. Like,
Yeah.
there's been no camp feeling to it. It is very ominous, and we talked about this in the last live. I think it's that dark, gloomy like feel of the location and the material that they're or the story that they're telling, and I just it works. Like it really
It
draws me in, just
does.
like Murder House, right? Like it had that feeling of just like tension and scary and things we
Yeah.
had not seen before. And so I really think they're doing a great job of going back to the beginning, I guess, right? So
I mean, I love when American Horror Story gets campy. I think
yeah.
1984 is the perfect example of how when they do camp right, they do camp right. Like that, and I'm not just talking summer camp, guys. We know this, okay?
Ah!
It's very good when they do it right like that. But then there's something about this season. I even think it's better than Murder House so far.
I
These
mean,
four
I'm
episodes,
yeah.
and I'll say that I know Murder House came out in 2011. I only saw it in 2018. So I do wonder if it was maybe on the same level as Double Feature back in 2011, but those 7 years maybe didn't do it justice in that way. I still love
Sure.
Murder House. Like,
Yeah.
if you ever listen to our rankings episode, you know it's our number one of the seasons
Yeah.
so far. But yeah, like, okay, there are moments that I know shouldn't work well, like the scene at the Muse in episode 3 with Alma and Harry, and he's kind of like laying down the ground rules of like when she's going to be able to feed, how they're going to go about all of this stuff, and that should be stupid. Like in any other season, I feel like that would be the dumbest conversation. A father having this talk with his daughter about when she's going to feed on people's blood, but it's really good. It carries so much emotional weight. I'm invested. I can't wait to see how that unfolds. Like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know why it's working so well, but it's also making me so nervous for what's to come.
Definitely, I understand that because I'm nervous too because I'm like it's so good. I'm gonna be heartbroken if in some way it screws up along the way. You know what I mean? Because it's just the bar is set so high right now. But I
Yeah,
do want to go back to your point. I did watch American Horror Story from the very beginning. So
right.
premiere and I've been with it ever since. And it was for that time there was nothing out there like that. I mean, and so really it was so good. And that's why I say this feels so much like that now because I know we've had a couple of years with, pandemic and things, not the best stuff was getting put out. Things were getting put on the back burner. So I'm sure there's a tad bit of that. Like we've just anticipation. We've been waiting for it, but man, did they come back with something amazing. So
And I was trying to think about that from like exactly that from that perspective of like, are we just anticipating it so much? But with the incredible mixed bag that we got with stories, I wasn't expecting much afterwards,
yeah,
especially after that last episode. And
let's not
speaking
talk
of
about
that,
that anymore.
no, well, one thing about that, I have confidence in Red Tide. I think that they can end that part of the story really nicely. I am more concerned about the second half because the actors are changing. Some people are coming back, but some people are changing. And I know for sure that Kaya Gerber, who played fucking ghost girl that was in the relationship, she's coming back, and I feel like she's gonna ruin it.
I know, not a fan, not a fan.
No, she was not good.
Maybe perhaps with different material, she
It's
might do a
possible.
better job because for me, it was so lackluster because
Yeah.
I was just tired. I hate to say tired of Murder House, but I was like, stop introducing new things into Murder House. I don't want to
Yeah.
see this,
Yeah. Leave it
So
be. Just leave it be. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, what else do we want to say about episode 3? Because I know we
Uh,
shared some of our thoughts and feelings and theories in that little IGTV that we put out the other day. But what else? What was a highlight for you?
Honestly, the highlight for me, there were two parts of the episode, maybe three, but one of them kind of two of them kind of go hand in hand. The
Hmm.
main thing off the bat was just seeing Dennis O'Hare again.
Oh,
I
just down
love
on the
him.
beach feeling the colors.
Feeling the colors, it was so Dennis O'Hare that it was chef's kiss
Yeah.
perfection to
Yeah.
me. I was so excited. It's been so long since we've seen him, and I just was like, this,
That's
thank you.
true, eh?
Yeah, I don't
When
think
did
we've
we
seen
see
him.
him last? Hotel?
Hotel. I don't.
Roanoke?
I was
No?
about to say, does he have something small in Roanoke? But I really think Hotel was the last thing we've seen him in that I can really recall off the top of my head.
That's the first role that's really coming to mind. I mean, that's a big role that always comes to mind for Dennis O'Hare,
Liz,
but
yeah.
yeah, I'm really glad that he's back. I was really happy to see
Me
him.
too. So obviously everything to do with him, I was
Hmm.
totally here for. It was amazing. I love the back and forth between him and Adina Porter. It was fantastic because she was like, "So what you're saying is, a murder took place down here, but you're," and he was just like, "Toodaloo, I'm done talking to you
Will
right
you come down
now."
and make a statement?
He's
No, I just
no,
made one.
yeah, that was it.
That was
Goodbye.
a great line.
I love it. The other part was the entire sequence of Harry. Actually, there were so many good parts, but Harry trying on his own to get the to get blood to make a kill. That turning totally sideways, which I was actually
Horrifyingly
here.
sideways.
Well, I was here for it because
Oh, yeah.
I kept waiting because we all know. I mean, we had the Craigslist killer. I mean, we know that Craigslist can be super shady. So
Hmm.
I all in the back of my mind, I kept thinking to myself, somebody's gonna fuck up with the Craigslist stuff
Yeah.
because people are vicious out there, and not just people that are bloodsuckers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like regular old people will trap you and they will harm you, and just I had so much fear in that moment. I mean, I knew subconsciously Harry's a big character. He's not,
Yeah.
nothing bad's going to happen to him, but there was a lot of suspense in that. And just the fact that that was their a whole gig was like, we're basically going to just feed you this Viagra. We need you to perform all of these sex acts. We're going to have to kill you afterwards. But the payoff for us is going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
It was so great. Like the whole thing, like, and he was so confused. And I find that compelling because it's like, wait a minute, you got double crossed, but you were going there to double cross
Yes.
somebody. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
I
I
love
mean,
that.
I agree. I think it was a really smart choice to make one of these interactions go horribly wrong. They don't need to do it again now, but at least they showed that like it's not going to be all win 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 for these people just going to collect this blood, right?
Absolutely.
And it was so funny because when we were recording last weekend, um, I can't remember why, but you brought up the term rosebud. Oh, because we were coming up with names for
Names.
something. And
Yes.
I paused and I looked at you and I was like, has she seen the new episode
Oh,
yet?
I
Do I
had.
say
Yeah.
any? Oh, you had. Okay. So,
Oh,
but I was like,
I had.
oh, that's like uncomfortably relevant right now.
Listen, it's funny in Schitt's Creek, but in this instance, I was like,
It's
oh.
terrifying. Terrifying. Yeah.
Listen, no, listen, I'm not kink shaming. I'm not doing anything like that. If that's your thing, that's your thing, and that's fine.
No.
But for me, it
What
makes me,
they did.
yes, like that whole thing. I was like,
Yes.
you don't do it without consent from the other
No, no,
person.
like that was a terrifying setup. That was so, I got like, I don't know, I just got like really bad horror movie vibes. Not bad horror movie, but like that kind of like physical body horror kind of vibes. It was really creepy. But you're right, like we know Harry's going to make it out, but it was still really interesting to see how he was going to make it out and like how he was going to go about getting into fucking taking these people down. Like,
Hold on one moment. Okay, Lisa. I'm just, you know what, Lisa? I'm going to have you Google in a private browser rosebudding, and we're just going to leave it at that. We're not going to go
Yes.
into it anymore. Okay. It's
Yeah.
something that, yeah, it's a special thing. So, um, but
But
yeah,
yeah,
you're
that
right.
was good.
Yeah.
I hope he cleaned up well because we know they made a big deal about, not taking your gloves off, which he had no choice in the matter. Like he got knocked out, right? But there's also possibly some
Video.
footage, so I hope he wasn't
Oh,
stupid.
I'm telling you, like, I, I I love Finn Whitrock. I'm gonna have to start really sounding it out because usually it comes out Finn Whitrock.
Ugh, love
Um,
it.
I love him. I love the characters that he plays, except for Dandy. But I'm here to tell you that if something were to blow back on Harry about this, I mean, I don't think I would be sad about it. I mean, and that
Right.
I'm not trying to be like mean or anything, but like I think that that would be perfect. We find out later in the episode. I mean, I don't think the police chief's going to be able to sort any of that out, but I think it's going to be something that breaks open what's happening in P Town that
It could be.
everyone is
Yeah.
keeping a secret.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I think so too. There's too many clues that like that could have gone wrong. Because again, the gloves, the camera footage, like I think anybody in that situation would be so full of adrenaline that like they got out of this near death situation, you'd be forgetful about certain things. Lisa,
true.
if you came here to learn, you came to the wrong live, girl.
Yeah. I can listen offline. I can recommend some things for you. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm. Send
So
us a DM, okay?
slide into our DMs. We'll let you know. Well, and also, this is just me, typical me, but I also got to thinking, like, does Viagra even work on people that are taking the black pill? Because it's almost like there's
Oh,
no, it's just funny, like, that's probably never going to come up, obviously, but it's funny to think about that because they're so hyper focused on what this pill is helping them achieve that I don't
yeah.
even know if pardon my vulgarity, but is he even going to get a boner from it? Is he even going to like, you know what I mean? I
I
mean, I
do.
don't
Well, and
know.
especially because he's apparently so deficient in all of these minerals, which we kind of learn in the next episode, right? So,
Yeah.
honestly, I don't know what goes into making a boner. I really don't. Lisa, maybe you can Google that on that private tab and come back to us. You'll be our special correspondent for this live, Googling all the dirty things.
Yeah.
But it's quite possible. Like, I don't think we've learned enough yet about how it interacts with like your physiology and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. Yeah. The other scene that I really enjoyed was eh, I feel bad, but I don't feel bad for Harry, and I really like it. I cannot with you right now. Okay.
I have to say it because for people like watching or listening later, they
Yeah.
won't know. But Lisa has said boobs plus ass equals boner, and I
I
think that
mean,
that's really good math.
it's a simple equation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
That's math
um,
anyone can get.
we can do that math over here at Damn Science.
Yes. Yes.
The I'm going. I'm just having these mixed feelings about Harry, and I think this is what's making his character very great for me personally. Is
Okay.
I think that and we learn more in the next episode of why there's the rage, why there's the sudden outburst, but you don't know that in this episode. So you're like, what an asshole. You know what I mean? Like he's snapping at Alma, he's
Yeah.
snapping at Doris, but and so it makes me hate him. It also makes me hate him that he kept those pills anywhere where Alma could get them. But on the
Yeah.
same token, or on the other side of that, he's trying to do something to help Alma, and that's a little redeeming on those other qualities because I'm like, okay, if I put myself in this situation and my child was like, well, oopsie, I just took your blood sucking pills,
Yeah.
I don't think I would be like, all right, I need to go collect a thermos. I don't like where's the line where you're like, you're gonna have to wait this out and never do this again versus fine. Keep taking it and let me try to help you navigate because he's still a baby vampire himself or whatever. But you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's just like, what all knowledge does he even really have about this outside of just the basic rules that Belle and Austin had given him?
Yeah,
So
for sure. But I think like we don't really know who Harry is before the pill. I mean, we got to know him
true.
very briefly before that. So I don't know. Like, had he not ever taken the pill, but then found that his daughter had, I think his response might have been different. But he knows like the power of this thing and he knows that other side of it now, where I think that's probably clouding his judgment. But you're right. He's doing in the strangest ways, he is actually being a kind of a decent father, like
Mhm.
in a fucked up way, but
Yeah,
in one that works within the context of the show.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, I loved the whole just interaction between Belle, Austin, and Harry when they find out that Alma has taken it.
What's their
But
deal?
what is it? And so I touched on that in the IG that we put
Yeah.
out. It's like Interview with a Vampire, where everyone got so mad because they turned a young child into a vampire because they wanted, a little girl. They wanted like a daughter, essentially. And it was this big forbidden thing. I'm going to say this too. This also the taboo in Twilight. Okay. Like we can't have
Yeah.
any baby, vampires or what. I don't think these are vampires, but you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
it makes me wonder, like, what themes are they taking from that? Because what really happens if you take it at that age? I have a lot more to like expand upon once we get into the next episode of what is the deal with that? Because either eventually your talent runs out, I suppose, or do you become some sort of like uh big presence or domination that is intimidating and threatening to those that have been older in life and taken it. I don't know, you
Hmm.
know,
Right. Yeah. I know. I'm
because there's so
very,
much potential for her at her age to
yeah.
continue to grow and use this to become so fantastic or even
Like
better.
incredibly prolific as a
Right.
musician. Yeah.
Versus
Or,
a 50-year-old woman that took it, if
yeah.
that's how old Belle is. And there's an age cycle with that, so
Yeah, I mean, unless I kind of touched on this a little bit in that IGTV, but unless like everybody has a kind of a time limit with it,
yeah, true, true, yeah.
which we don't know as well at this point. What else? What else? I mean, Ursula's character is great. I think that like they've finally given Leslie Grossman something that she's excelling with. I haven't disliked Leslie Grossman in past seasons, but she's never been a huge standout for me. But this
Yeah.
season, I'm enjoying her so much. Like,
Hmm.
I just like that she's kind of no nonsense, very like no filter, is what she is. I think she's doing a really great job with that role. And I just want her to have tentacles so bad.
I know, me too. Well, and it's funny because this character is reminiscent of Margaret
A little bit, yeah.
post like 80s massacre once she got all of her money and everything, just that whole
Yes.
situation. But it's still unique enough because I read something where everyone's like, I'm so tired of Leslie Grossman getting the same character. And I'm like, but not really. I mean, yeah, like there's a certain type of character in every American Horror Story
Yes.
season that certain actors will always play no matter what. But I love the fact that it's elevated.
I
This type,
agree.
yeah, it's just an elevated situation for her, and I'm into it.
Yeah. And I would say that the same thing is actually happening with Angelica Ross as well. I'm getting some not Rita vibes from 1984.
Yeah.
But I would not go as far as to say that like Angelica Ross is one note or anything because we saw her play something completely different with Candy on
Oh
Pose.
God, so good.
And I agree that I think that this role is elevated as well. And I think it's just the material that they're being given. It's just better writing.
Okay, hear me roar. Thank you for that.
I know. What a
Uh,
beautiful compliment.
oh, wow. I
Yeah.
am honored beyond belief. So we're just going through boner talk. Okay, just making sure we didn't miss anything. But thank you. I will take that compliment. I also can smell out gluten and things like that. I don't know if
Oh
you remember.
my.
No, I
Yes,
can't.
of
I'm just
course.
joking.
I have a friend who might pay you for those services if you really could. So,
Listen, if I could, I would not look the way I would be in such better shape than I am right now. Just trust me when I tell you.
oh my God, amazing. Do you think there's anything to the fact that the chemist's door knocker is a mermaid slash perhaps a siren? Like, is that just a cute little, oh, hey, we see you?
I don't know. Like that's the thing about American Horror Story
Yeah.
is what there's so many things out there that it's like we don't know. You know, I
Fucking
think that
Lisa.
Lisa, you are too much.
Okay,
I
for people listening or watching
yeah, I'm
later,
sorry. Yeah,
Hear
we
Me
need to say the
Roar
comments.
said
Yeah.
that Leslie Grossman reminds her of Mel sometimes. And Lisa just had to come in here and be like, I think she sounds like Jasmine sometimes. And I bet you $150 Lisa has no idea who this person is.
I love it though. I love it.
Thank you,
Um,
Lisa.
what, and that was sort of, and I didn't go into it a lot in my response on the IG, but that, or maybe I did. Listen, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I took 47 takes of what I was trying to put out there, and I can't remember which take had which information in it, okay? Because one of
That's
them was
fair.
like 7 minutes long, and I was like, delete. No, that could
That's
not
showbiz,
happen.
baby. That's showbiz.
Um, but yeah, like the bigger bad. I know we talked about like, could it be a shark? Could it be because I'm getting Jaws feelings from it? But what if it's the scary like Grimm's fairy tales, like Little Mermaid sirens? Because
Yeah,
the Grimm's fairy tales is, like they're not. It's not the cute little under the sea, Little
no.
Mermaid. She's pretty gruesome, and
Yeah.
so I would love it if it were some sort of main like and film at that. So because I mean, I guess a siren could be a male, but I would just love it if
Yeah.
it's a big bad film like energy, and it be a siren. And I don't know, but I loved it
hmm
nonetheless. I thought it was great.
It's a cute detail, even if it doesn't amount to anything. Along similar lines, the line of dialogue from Adina Porter's character, your names are so old fashioned. Do you know why you were named that? Oh, nostalgia, I guess. Personally, I think this is a poke at the audience to be like, quit it with your asylum connections, but it could be something bigger. It could be like it. I mean, I will not be surprised if part two has something to do with asylum, but that could also just be one of like that could be a door knocker detail, basically.
You're right. And honestly, I mean, I don't think there were any like Dorises in Asylum. I just the fact that he named
No.
his daughter Alma,
Mm-hmm.
and I read somewhere that Kit and gosh, what was her name? What was she Alma? Yeah, she was
His wife was
yeah, she
Alma.
was
Yeah.
Alma. Yeah.
Yeah.
I read that they got married in Provincetown. See, I haven't gone back and rewatched the season.
You are right.
Yeah. And so they got married in Provincetown because they were in that, like that, they lived in that area of the United States.
Interesting.
So, and
Okay.
again, it could just be us, it could be them playing with us because, I mean,
Yes.
look at what we're doing right now. We're theorizing and
Exactly.
hypothesizing
Yes.
everything. So,
Yeah. So I think that could be another one of those little details. What else did I want to bring up about this? Oh, obviously I'm sad to lose Adina Porter so
oh,
early on. I think that's too bad, but also that death was epic and the ending of episode 3. I have not been that excited about, oh my God, I can't wait until next week. I haven't felt that in a really long time. And so
yeah.
I was like, great. I'm so glad that you're doing this to me right now. I want to feel this.
I agree. Well, and I love it. Well, because obviously Harry doesn't know that Ursula knows, but I love the fact that she's like, Don't worry, I got this. I'll watch the kid." And then she's
I'll
like,
put
I'm
a
taking
bowl
a,
underneath it. No big deal.
yeah. And then I'm going to take a nap. And then she just commits this murder. And then Harry comes home and she's like, I think we have something we need to talk about. Yeah, you've got the dead, like, chief of police or whatever, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
in your living room. But I love how she's just like, oh, hi, you're home. We need to talk about this.
Grab a drink.
Another thing though, I know we talked about it, but I didn't know if you had any extra thoughts on, especially when we get into the next episode, Dennis O'Hare's character, because he said he's an interior designer,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't get those vibes unless he's doing some side job in the next episode. But just for that to be a connection to Doris in some way,
Yes.
I mean, I'm loving it. Also, we get out. I think I loved Macaulay or Mickey. I think I loved him better, or my love for him continues to grow. Let's just put it that way.
Big time.
Is
He is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Episode 4, he was amazing. But
Yeah.
episode 3, the man has a comedic timing that I don't. I mean, obviously he was in Home Alone. That's a comedy, but I mean, we
So
Party
different though.
Monster.
So long ago.
Yeah, Party Monster and Saved are like the last two things that I think I really saw him in, which he was pretty funny in Saved, but he can convey a whole scene with no lines and just facial expressions. The
Yeah.
man is amazing. And so I hope that he becomes a regular like Sarah Paulson or Evan
Same.
Peters.
Yes. Big time. Big time agree. I mean, when I was rewatching episode 4, during a lot of the scenes, I was paying attention to him and just watching these like naturalistic movements that he has. And I was
Yeah.
trying to think like, I mean, I'm definitely not a great actor, but I went to drama school. I went to like I wanted to be an actor, and I was just thinking back and being like, there's no way I would have ever made it. Like I just don't have whatever that is. Like it's just so he puts you into the scene, and yes, he fits in this universe so well. Hear me roar. I agree.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
earlier, Hear Me Roar said, I love the way this season is pacing, and I couldn't agree more. Like, everything is unfolding in the right ways. Nothing is being held back for too long and drawn out. Like, it's just, and nothing feels like, oh my God, too fast. We have to rush through it either. It's
Right.
just, yeah, it's just a
Right.
little Goldilocks finding all the sweet spots.
I love I don't know if
Is
I
it
know
not
that reference.
Wait, is it not Goldilocks? And the
I
Three
think
Bears.
you be the sweet spot in the bed.
Sure. Well,
Okay,
she
all right.
just keeps finding the stuff that's just right.
Okay, all right. We'll go. I was
Am
like,
I wrong? Am I thinking of the
no,
wrong fairy tale?
no. But when you said Goldilocks finding the sweet spot, I was like,
I mean, maybe she found a sweet spot in that little bear's bed. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. We don't know what little bears are doing in bed at night.
Too
That's little
much.
bear's
Too,
business.
too much. But I mean, so yeah, I really enjoyed episode
Mm-hmm.
3. I also I feel like with Alma, and this again, not to I know I keep kind of going back at the same thing, but these are where my thoughts are at. In Interview with a Vampire, there was no self-control with Kirsten Dunst's character because she was a little girl.
Okay.
There was no self-control on her feeding. And so that's why they were like, this is not a good idea because they're
Right.
too young, they don't have the wherewithal, and they don't age. So she's always going to do this, right? Like
Right.
she was always killing the handmaidens and everything like that. But it feels the same way with Alma. She's always hungry. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like Belle, Austin, Harry, like what we've seen of them, they can feed and they can stay full for a while. And I don't know if that's something that builds up, but for her, but it didn't feel that way for Harry, right? Like
No.
he wasn't right off the bat like I need to eat everything in sight. With her, it's like, okay, and by the way, I'm hungry again. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. There is that line like, Dad, I'm hungry again. And meanwhile, she had really just eaten. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay, I think that's all. Okay, I do think ticks need to come back up. Like something has to happen with this Lyme disease stuff. I need it needs to make sense. But I'm not that worried about it. And just one other thing, there's something about the way that Angelica Ross was talking about how the formula for the pills is just in her head. It's not written down anywhere. Nobody else knows it. There was a comment about the pills getting reverse engineered. Like Ursula would take it to a lab, get them reverse engineered. I sort of see like, will Angelica Ross's character die for some, like, to essentially take out the pills for good?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And that's why I was saying when it comes to Ursula, I think it's probably going to be like I don't want to use a good versus evil type situation because I think it would be an evil versus evil type thing because the chemist, it's not like I mean, I know that she's trying to develop something that's going to be revolutionary, but it's not a very good thing. But then Ursula wants it for very selfish, like reasons. So it's almost
Yes.
like two big bads, like Freddy versus Jason, type thing coming together, where it's like,
Yeah.
or Mr. Jingles and Richard Ramirez, where it's
Sure.
like
Yeah.
I've got ill intentions, you've got ill intentions, and we're gonna fight it out and see who wins because whoever wins is gonna get these pills. So
Well,
I
maybe they'll
love
drive off into the sunset at the end listening to Billy Idol.
and laughing and blowing through stop signs.
So good.
I love it. I love
Um,
it.
Black Lady Tarot has asked, okay, which show is this again? We're talking about the latest season of American Horror Story, episodes 3 and 4. And now we're going to talk about episode 4.
Yeah,
As long as you're ready, Mel's.
I am ready. I mean,
Let's to do it.
the only other thing that I had written down in some quick notes here is I want to know Doris's story surrounding her pregnancies. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, infertility, struggles with, pregnancy. I mean, that's a very common, thing. And it's a lot of people suffer from that. But I feel like the way that it was introduced in when she went to the hospital was kind of like, well, with your previous
Yeah.
issues with the pregnancies and the miscarriages, it almost makes me wonder, like, it just felt like it wasn't a routine thing, like, well, unfortunately, you're facing this. I don't know. It felt very, because she had to be monitored. She had to stay in the
For
hospital.
five days.
Yeah. And so that's why I'm like, mm,
Yeah.
there's something else there as well. So I'm
Yeah.
on to I'm really digging your theory about what is it about Doris, because even if this was a fake Instagram contest to bring them there, and then she also has a super talented daughter and husband, but I don't know, there's got to be something there. Like, did she think she was also going to go? I mean, I don't know, like take these pills and have her talent not be interior decorating, but I mean, having a family, that seems far fetched, I know, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, what if it's something like that where it's like, hey, a lot of good things come out of people in Provincetown. If we go there,
Right.
maybe I'll have success with this pregnancy. I don't know. I
Yeah.
just feel like
Yeah.
it's
It
going to
could
be
be
something.
innocent like that in a way, but
Yeah.
yeah. I'm back and forth with Doris. Like, part of me thinks she orchestrated the whole thing. Part of me thinks she's not smart enough really to do that. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Okay,
anybody
so
who finds their child eating a dead animal from a cemetery and doesn't immediately take them to the hospital, but instead is like, just going to wash you up. We're going to check into the Lyme's disease. I don't know. It was just kind of like,
yeah.
maybe you need a psych evaluation if you're.
I don't know why the hospital wasn't the first stop. Yeah, that is really strange.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, Abby says, ooh, interesting, after Alma talks about what a failure she is as a mom. And
Yeah, good call.
that could be two-sided, because that could have also been that, animosity or that rage
The
coming out of
rage, yeah,
her.
yeah.
But I feel like there's truth in these rage episodes that they have. Like, because even Harry
It's
snapped
like
at
when you get
her.
drunk and you say something and you're like, I didn't mean it, but it was
But it's a drunk man's
you meant it.
tails no tail. No, that's a dead man, tails no tails. Anyway, you know where I'm going
Same,
with that.
same. Yeah.
Alma is so ruthless. She's basically like, hey, Dad, Mom sucks, let's ditch her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, but that's all that I had out there. Also, just because this is just me, but I love that the title of the episode is Thirst. such a double meaning, like thirst we need to feed, but thirst also for the greed and the hunger and the need and the want to be successful. I love the
Totally.
double,
Yeah.
piece of that. So,
Yeah.
but we got to get on to episode 4
Yeah,
because
we
I
we
am
gotta get
here.
on.
I was
Blood
fist
buffet.
pumping. I was, when I tell you, screaming when at this episode. So let's get
What
into
was
it.
making you fist pump and scream? What specifically? The fact that it was a flashback?
No, no, not necessarily. Um, Tate Safe Space, which we've trademarked, by the way. I don't
Absolutely.
know if y'all
Yes.
have
This
noticed
is a
that, but
Tate safe space. Yes.
that's our trademark. Um, I loved everything about. Well, yeah, okay, yes, the flashback.
I
The
am
flashback.
I am remembering now that I wanted to, as I came into the live tonight, I wanted to play Magic Man and just be like, you can call me patio furniture. Fuck.
I
Okay.
love it.
I
That's okay.
failed.
I have a feeling there'll be more iconic moments coming from him. Well, yes, I do enjoy the fact that it was a flashback because I really liked getting Belle's backstory. It made me feel really bad for her. Like
Totally. They did a great job with that.
wow,
Yeah.
I got emotional at some of them. I love the backstory on Austin. And I'm just here to tell you when two of my favorite worlds collide, which is
Yeah, I
drag.
should have known that this was making you fist pump and scream. I should have known that that was what it was.
When it was drag and American Horror Story, and I just want to let everyone know, yes, I am aware that Trixie Mattel was in Roanoke. I am aware that she had a small cameo. She was an interviewer on the panel.
Oh.
So the actors that were playing the reenactment when they did the panel, she was an interviewer with Leslie Jordan, I
Oh,
believe.
cool.
But
Okay.
I love Trixie Mattel, but let me tell you something right now. Eureka O'Hara, love her. Elephant Queen, I love her to death. I stand her. But the fact that she was in this episode and had like an actual, it wasn't like 20 seconds of just let me get your words, and
Yeah.
she was
Was
part of
this
it.
Crystal Decanter? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. She was so
I
much
love,
fun.
gosh, I loved it. Um, yeah, so that was basically it. I loved Evan in
Yeah.
drag. I loved his whole backstory. I felt so bad for him when the other queens were like heckling him, and because I was like, what the fuck? Like, don't.
I
It's just that whole
mean, he
environment.
wasn't that good, but because we know it's Evan Peters, I think,
Excuse
oh, you
me.
disagree?
I don't know if
Whoops.
you were watching the same episode I was when he crawled on the piano and smacked his
That part
butt.
was good. That part was good. I thought he upped his game at that point. But before that, I was like, this is okay. All right. Yeah, we
I
can up
had
the
to
game.
I had to change my pants after that scene.
He
Okay.
looked good. He
He
looked
looks
very good in drag. I
great.
really
Oh,
liked it. Yeah. I
loved
did
it.
almost always, I did also almost wear my long blonde wig tonight and like a little
Me too.
corset top.
Oh, I literally, you've seen Let's Go Girls. You've seen my girls in the background back here.
Yes.
One of them is a wig just like that, and I was like, should I? And then I
Oh
was
my
like,
God.
let's don't scare the children away. Let's just keep it civil for right now. I'm loving these comments. Episode 4 might be my favorite. I never knew I needed Evan Peters in drag. I
Hmm.
agree. Hear me
Yeah.
roar. I thought he was fantastic. He was. But this is, aside from me being a Tate fan, Evan Peterson himself in other works of like film or whatever anything he's been, he's a phenomenal actor. I mean, he
Hmm.
really is. But this just really showed his range where he can be something other than a boy toy type, young kid. Like this was not a tortured artist, but like a struggling artist trying to, get his footing into something to release his creativity. I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed seeing both of their backstories as well. And I thought it was interesting that both of them were so down on their luck and struggling because the show is definitely doing its work to make us like them more. Seeing them in those positions, you definitely, I mean, it humanizes them in a way, but it also gives you an insight into why they would even try this pill, why they would even, go for it. And I'm like, I feel torn about it because on the one hand, like, I kind of dig them just being kind of villainous characters, and I don't know that we needed to know these parts of their story, but I also just like them more as characters now too. Like, they feel a little bit more fleshed out, they feel a little bit more three-dimensional, like, so I don't know, like at the end of the day, I'm really happy with the episode. I really enjoyed flashing back to that stuff, and I feel like with other flashbacks, we've done too much to establish
Yeah.
story. This felt really quick. Like, we got Belle, we got Austin, we got the story with the chemist. We're getting more insight into Mickey as well. Like, what has happened in this 5 years that he's clearly decided not to really work for the chemist anymore because he's not bringing people to her as far as I'm concerned, right? Like, he's
Mm.
at the point where he's stealing pills from Belle just to be able to take them. So
Well, what I'm interested in, and I love Hear Me Roar, Belle Noir's husband deserved that bottle to the neck 100%. He was a douchebag.
150,000%.
He was a dick. And let me tell you something. That was Frances Conroy in um, none of her role, none of her American Horror Story roles. It was so reminiscent of the warden's wife in the first season of Castle Rock.
Agree. Yeah.
Just very, I mean,
Meek and
meek, and yeah, meek is a good word. I was going to say poorly, but that's not really what. But yeah,
I
like
know what you mean though.
insecure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and she's putting great things out there, but it's not picking up. And her husband is a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
I would have done the same thing. What I love is so episode 4 is where I fell in love with Mickey even more because the
Yeah.
thing is he's always just I guess been this hustler at the Muse, right? And but I love the fact that whatever it was that, and I guess it was the fact that he seemed like he would do pretty much anything for money, and that's why the chemist picked him, up to take him
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
But what I
Halloween
love,
special, baby.
and then I was like, this is the Halloween episode, what?
I
But
know,
anyway,
but it was a week from Halloween. So my fingers crossed that
true.
somehow we're still in October and present day. Remind me to go back to present day when you're done with your point.
Yeah, uh-huh. Okay, so, but what I love is that, so she takes him home and she's like, all right, listen, he's like, here's my rates. And she's like, I'm not into that. What I want to do, you've got some, how does she know that there's any talent there? I mean, but nonetheless, she's like, I got something that you would really be interested in.
Mm-hmm.
And, but the self-restraint of Mickey though, because you would think that in the moment he'd be like, "Fuck yeah, give it, yeah, I would have taken it," like. But he wasn't. He was like, "No, are you gonna give me the cash? I'm out of here." That
I
was
mean,
just,
yeah, his response and the look on his face when he was like, "Fuck no." I thought that
yeah.
was so good.
Macaulay Culkin is so funny.
Yeah,
I just can't get over it. But then I love how he becomes her recruiter, and I just
sure,
love
why not? Yeah.
his whole demeanor after that changed where he's like, "Oh, you're a great singer. Come on down. Let me take you here. Oh, I saw you in the bookstore. I can't go back in there because some things went down, but let me bring you back here." I just loved the, I don't know, it was a totally different Mickey in the past than the Mickey we see now. So I'm excited to see what kind of has transpired. Like, I guess maybe it came down to him seeing that first guy that he delivered to the chemist and what ended up happening
For
to
sure.
him when he saw
Yeah,
him in the bar later. Like, perhaps it didn't stop him from recruiting, but I wonder if that was the beginning of him being like, "Uh-oh, like
yeah.
I don't think I want to be, I might enjoy drugs and I might enjoy, like sex work or whatever it is, but I don't, I'm not into like ruining people's like lives like
Right.
that."
Yeah. Because
So
you can see that, I mean, 5 years ago, Mickey, current day Mickey, there's still a confidence there, but the
yeah,
spirit has diminished a little bit
yeah,
within him. Like, I thought he was so much more alive in the past. And I think
right.
he's changing now too, that he's taken the pill. Like, he does seem more optimistic again. And I mean, there's clear reasons why he would be, right? But yeah, I think when we first meet him, he's still on his game, but in a very defeated way almost.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to see where that went. But I'm going to tell you, this is going to sound crazy. I cried. I'm not going to lie. I shed
Oh.
some tears with the first guy's story because it was like the way she broke it to him. It's like, okay, well, too bad. Your dreams were bigger than what the world was going to offer you, and you're fucked, basically, right? Like, this is how you're going to have to live the rest of your life. The way that, and it just broke my heart the way he was like, I'm a Buddhist, I'm a pacifist, I'm a vegan, for God's sake, which made me think of you because I was like, this is Jasmine because she is a vegan but loves to watch meat get cut up. So,
Sure, yeah.
but no, I mean, and I just was like, this is shitty, and it's all in the name of furthering like the chemist's, research and everything that she's got going on, and I don't know, like I hated that. And now we know where the
It
pale
was
people came
sad,
from,
yeah.
you know?
I liked that we got his story too because he's very recognizable as one of the first pale people that we see in the show. So I
Yeah,
kind of thought that was cool. He's definitely, I don't know the actor, I don't know if I'm supposed to know him, but he's
I
definitely a
don't know. And
lesser character. But I thought
mhm.
that was really cool that his backstory was intertwined with everybody else's. I have some questions about that, but Abby is saying,
Oh,
can we talk about how much brighter the colors were in the past? Things are so much paler in the future. That's in my
mm-hmm.
notes. I noticed that as well. The color palette in general was just so, I don't want to go as far as to say vibrant, but there was definitely a difference.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a great point. Yeah. What was I just saying? Okay, this actor, his backstory. Okay, he got one pill, right? So how is it 5 years later and he's the palest of the pale people? We
I
need
don't
to know
know.
more about this
Yeah.
because the talented people have to keep taking it. If you're not talented, does one dose just fuck you for life?
I mean,
Like, is it,
that's my
what
assumption
Angelica
right
Ross was
now.
saying about like if I kicked you in the occipital lobe or whatever?
Yeah.
Also, I looked up occipital lobe, just a little bit of damn fine facts transferring over into our lives here. But the occipital lobe is responsible for our vision. So it's like how we see things and process the external world. But I thought it was interesting that it was responsible for vision, which you can also use as like, oh, she had a vision. They were a visionary. That's, their talent. They could see things like that. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just to point this out, I loved Mickey's face when she was like, if I were to hit you there,
He was like,
you would be worth shit. And he was like, what?
yeah,
I mean, I don't have to say it again. It's just the face
yeah,
acting
he's
with
great.
him. Where he's like, well,
He
anyways,
doesn't
fuck
miss a
no.
beat.
No.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
talk about timeline.
Okay.
When do you think it's taking place? Because we haven't had any sort of anchor in time apart from the fact that we know that Instagram exists. There was an Instagram contest that Doris won. We know they're using smartphones. The Impossible Burger comment was like, oh, I can look up when Impossible Burgers were first out. They were first in restaurants in like 2016,
Mm-hmm.
2017. So that could mean that present day is actually our present day. But there's something about the fashion. I don't know. It's like it's making me think that present day is a little bit further in the future for some reason. And like the 5 years ago is maybe like right now, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like
Hmm.
specifically Angelica Ross, like her look felt very much of the now
Yeah.
in the flashback episode.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
got that 80s inspired look, which is very in right now still, but it's kind of like 90s a little bit too. But anyways, I don't know. What have you thought about that in terms of when
Well,
we are?
I have, and it's very after let's see, when did we, there was so much flashing around in, oh gosh,
1984.
well,
Oh,
and Apocalypse too, that I almost am like, you know what? I don't know if I care what year,
that's fair.
but
Yeah,
I'm with you on it though. It, it just feels, but the funny thing about it is apparently there's one shop that I think everyone frequents or everyone gets their style from, which is
that's true. Yes.
Lark's shop, and she explained,
Yeah.
in the flashback, well, okay, like this is basically how we got all these fashions because I feel like everyone that is a P Town resident looks like that.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's
quite
why
possible. Yeah.
Doris and Harry look like such outsiders almost because
Right.
it's like, I mean, Macaulay
They have their
Culkin
city
or
clothes.
yeah, well, Mickey is wearing like an old, very vintage like coat, and then you've
Yeah.
got the first pale person who was like, I don't know why he was so attracted to that
Oh,
80s like
but
shoulder pad
I
thing,
loved it.
but
I
I
agree
loved
with that
it.
woman that walked by that
Yeah.
was like, great costume. I was like, yes, agree.
It's like, well, never mind the fact that he just ate
Yeah.
somebody, but
It's not a
whatever.
costume, but you know.
And then Belle, that whole persona she took on with
Yeah.
the updo and the makeup, I don't know, it was great.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
the
think you have a
fashion is
really good
great.
point about where people are shopping. That makes perfect sense. And we did get that explained. I don't know how you're going to feel about this, but I am glad that Billy Lord is being used sparingly.
Me too.
This character seems to be the only one that didn't get the memo that American Horror Story was going to be serious this time around. And I'm like, I'm glad that we're not seeing too much of you.
Well, and I'm going to be honest, when we're talking about typecasting a certain character, she reminds me so much of Montana, that I'm just
From
like,
84. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
She's
the
just toned down a
response,
little bit, but
toned down version, but I mean the throwaway comment about eating her boyfriend, that was such a
yeah.
Montana feeling thing that I was
Yeah.
like, I love Billy Lord, don't get me wrong, I loved her in Apocalypse, she's my favorite in Apocalypse. I guess she was fine as Winter in
Okay.
Cult, but nonetheless, I'm glad that she's not in every episode. And
Yes,
I
agreed.
hate to say this, but I actually think it's a good thing that the main characters are not in every episode. Like the flashback, I mean, obviously
Yeah.
Harry and Doris wouldn't be there, but I mean, we did get to see tuberculosis Karen again, but see, she wasn't in the last episode. So
Yeah. And
I
even she only had one scene.
right, so which I bless her heart,
Speaking
which she
of
was
which,
like,
that scene was fantastic. Like Sarah Paulson and
yes,
Macaulay Culkin together, we've had two great scenes with them now,
yes.
and I like that too, that we're only getting a little bit at a time because it makes you want more and it's not being overdone, but they are great together. Yes, hear me roar.
Yeah,
Her teeth were like Harry's, so I
we
think
threw
that
that right out the,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Unfortunately, I was wrong on that. So,
But in this episode, it looked like in episode 4, it looks like the prop department actually got their hands on a set of like what do you call the like false teeth or whatever.
with the
Because
gums
before,
attached.
yeah, because before it
Yeah.
looked like they were just making a hand motion, but this time they actually had something. So I don't know if it was like a backlog while they were filming or something. They just didn't have the prop or something, but yeah. So it makes it look
Well,
more realistic now.
yeah. And one thing I did want to go into a little bit more is Dennis O'Hare's character because so
Yeah.
in the flashback, he's and I mean obviously you can be an interior designer and you can also be a realtor. No one says you can only be one thing.
Right, right. Yeah.
But I there's something there because even when he found the dismembered body parts on the beach, all he was like, ew,
Ew.
and just kept, so he's something too, and I mean, which I think it's obvious that everyone is, but just the way he was introduced last episode, and then a little bit more that we got this one, I was like,
But I think it's telling that we haven't seen him with pills, eating
true,
anybody. Like, I don't know that he has taken the pill. I think he might be in on it. Say somebody kind of like Ursula. He knows about it. He's not necessarily going to take it.
True,
Um,
true.
I almost wonder if like Dennis O'Hare is already so successful and good at what he does that he doesn't give a shit about these pills. Like he doesn't need them.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he's just not phased by that stuff.
Sure. And that could be totally it. Yeah.
What else? What else? Oh my God, I have patio furniture in capital letters here. I don't know why they were so mean about that name. That's a great name.
Oh, girl. Okay, so obviously I'm a huge ally fan of the drag community. I support them. I love everything about drag. Like honestly,
Yeah.
I love it. Um, I had a feeling that this might actually be how the drag community might be in general, like just catty and bitchy. But I will
Maybe.
tell you, I also got the feeling, which I guess it was probably obvious later on in the episode as well. I think that Eureka's character, Candelabra, whatever her name was,
Oh,
I have,
Crystal Decanter?
yeah, that's it. I'm thinking of
Candelabra.
Beauty and the Beast. Um,
That's
I
another
have
good one.
I have a feeling that she is a true drag queen, but
Right.
I felt like the other ones at the table were men that were
Yes.
trying to make money off of the art form and they were not actually in the lifestyle because I guess it's probably obvious when they get to the apartment later after everything happens with patio furniture, but yeah, so maybe that's why they were being so
Yeah.
harassing
Also, I think
towards
that's
him.
fair. Like, stop co-opting culture just to make a buck, right?
100%. Well, and he told them that. He was like, "Hello, you're just doing this to to
Yeah.
perpetuate, like, yeah, to get in on this phenomenon of, and make a quick buck. And it's not like their passion or it's not their, what they wanted to be."
Yeah. Yeah. They're just trying to make money. Speaking of the ending bit where Candelabra runs off, that jump scare at the end got me twice. I knew it was coming, obviously, the second time, and I still like, woo!
Girl, let me tell you something. I was like, "Run, Eureka, run." I'm just
Like,
gonna call her
keep
Eureka. I don't
going.
care. I
Yeah.
was like, "Girl, do not stop. Run, run, run." And then let me tell you, typical horror trope. She's like, "Oh, whew, I'm gonna take a rest in a cemetery." Don't
Yes.
do that.
Yes.
But here's the thing, though. I find it interesting that the non-pale people, so Austin, Belle, Harry, like who we know right now that are actively taking these pills, they do have to feed, but it seems so much more. Maybe it's the rage part, maybe it's that part of the bitterness that the pale people could not have what the others have, but their thirst and their hunting and everything like that seems so much to me um more sinister, or
Hmm.
I kind of even want to say heartfelt, but that's not the right word. But but do you know what I mean? Like it's almost a thing where it's like, okay, yeah, Belle and Austin probably enjoy hunting and they know they need to feed and then they feed every so often. But for them, I feel like it's like a personal vendetta where it's like, well, you know what? This is how I'm gonna pay the world back for fucking me over like this. Is bitch, you're just fixing to get your
Right.
throat tore out, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, I see what you mean. I think the only thing I'd noticed so far is that it's just like messy.
Ugh.
Specifically, like Austin Bell, Harry, like they're so messy about it. I mean, why are they waste so much blood? It's the thermos thing. I would have thought that they would have been like, "Oh, I like this technique. We can save more blood. Like we can store it for later or whatever." I mean, this is just logical, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, what else? I have a couple more little notes. I just gotta find where they end in here. Okay, what what does Belle get out of giving Austin one of the pills?
I
Because
have
she's not a recruiter, right?
right. Right. I don't listen, don't get me wrong. Okay. Um I find him hot. I didn't mind his performance. I would have been making it rain on that ass all night long. Okay,
Yes.
patio furniture would have come home with
Patio
me.
furniture.
Okay, but what I find interesting is um, there are more talented queens out there. Uh,
Yeah.
and yeah, and we talked about obviously this already, is that it wasn't like the best thing I've ever seen in my life, like as far as a drag performer. Like I honestly thought he was
Oh.
gonna get a
Bye, Abby.
oh, bye Abby, see ya. But I
Thanks for
thought
coming.
yeah, I thought he might get up there and like actually like blow everyone's hair back, like especially when
Yeah.
Magic Man queued up. But that it was lackluster. But she had her eye on him the whole time. And yeah, she could probably see that there was a tortured artist, something going on inside of him when he was at the piano. But I
Yeah.
think she had full intention of giving him that pill way before that point. So it makes me wonder, like, when you take the pill, do you recognize that in other people?
Oh,
But I don't know.
maybe.
But I don't see how that can be
Because then
possible.
they did the same thing with Harry, right? Like, I mean, the two of them were drinking at the Muse. They saw him from across the bar. They
True.
also offered him the pill. So it's like, what
True.
do they just want buddies to be on the pill with? Like, is it easier if you have more people to kill with? But then doesn't it get messier the more people are taking it? So I would just was wondering about what the incentive would be. Maybe it's like a referral program, like maybe they're getting a kickback every friend they refer.
Well, like Mickey, I mean, what if for Belle and Austin it's the supply? Like what if the chemist is
Mm,
like, I'll give you the supply if you keep sending people my way?
yeah. Yeah.
Uh I don't know. I
Could
don't
be.
know that, but I know, obviously with Mickey it was, I'll give you $50 for every person that shows
Right.
up on my doorstep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'm interested if we'll learn more about why he stopped doing that, or if we're just supposed to take it as like he was so clearly against the pills that he stopped bringing people there. I mean, that would be good enough, honestly. But
yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
But
I did.
man,
Did you notice that Belle's husband called her Belle? I thought that was weird since that's her pen name. I think that's
yeah.
like maybe the one piece of bad writing that we've seen. Like that's the one slip up, which I'm like, that's nitpicky. I don't care.
Well, it could be intentional. I don't know because also like she already had that pen name like picked out, and maybe this was just a play on words, and I'm just being like really ridiculous here and reaching. But I also loved how she told Lark, where she was like, "I'll be the belle of the ball."
Mm.
I don't. Yeah, I know it's stupid,
Yeah.
but it makes me wonder though. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like so because like if I go by a pen name, I mean Scott's not gonna call me that. He's,
Right. Yeah.
but he was also a hateful bastard, so like, who knows?
For a second, I was like, Scott?
Oh, well, hey, wait a minute, hold on.
Yes. Yeah. Scott's a
Is
real hateful bastard.
disclaimer, he is not an asshole at
No.
all.
No.
Okay, we've got some good stuff coming up here. Do you think once they take the pill, they can scout out other talent? Yeah, we saw
Yeah.
that. $10 off for every friend you recruit. Well, it's just this big scheme operation now because I mean, look how many pills that Mickey started out with and then look how many Belle has. I mean, Austin has that whole like
Yeah.
jar full of them. If they don't
Yeah.
need to take it every day, see, this is what I'm liking about the backstory of these pills, though, is
Yes.
you don't take it every day. It's like a fight once a week type thing, maybe to
Yeah.
start off with. Um, and I just love the fact that this is the chemist's way of doing her experiments because it's like, okay, tell me your rage, like, and then like how she likens it to the experiments with the monkey. I don't know, just all of that was really
I
well
loved
done.
learning more about it. And
Yeah,
because in episode 3, I was already wondering what's her motivation? Why is she doesn't want money, clearly, because she's not interested in Ursula's offer. So what is her motivation? And I like that we just learned it, like she wants to keep studying this stuff. Do you think she's still with Do you think she's still working for the military or she's gone rogue?
Okay. You know me and my thought. I almost am like, is she trying to make a super super not race, but like super population of like
A
people
super
out?
race smells. I think somebody else had this idea.
Who?
Don't worry about it.
I'm so lost. I am so lost. You know what I'm thinking of is
You
Captain
don't you
America.
you don't want to be like the person that wanted a super
Oh,
race. It's all good.
you're talking about Germany. Okay, never mind. No, yeah, got it. Whoa, and guys,
Only kidding.
I loved history. Okay, I was taught that. No, super race is wrong. What I mean is like the super population of like
Totally get what you mean. Yeah.
very talented and like what's the best that could come out of that, and then what's her cut, like what's her cut of that. And I think that might be why her and Ursula are gonna butt heads, because Ursula's trying to do the same thing. She's trying to recruit talent under her umbrella and get a super cut out of that.
Yeah.
So it's
Her
maybe
angle
that's what it
feels
is.
like we were all chatting, you, me, and Abby were chatting the other night on Instagram, and Abby brought up this idea of capitalism being part of what's going on here. And I can see that being a part of Ursula's motivation. That's the more capitalist
Right.
angle. Whereas with, I almost called her not Rita, but with the chemist, who we don't know her name, right?
We
Like we
do
don't have a name.
not know her
Love the secrecy.
name.
Yeah.
What do you think her name is?
Not Rita. I don't know. I kind of
I've been
like that
on
it's just chemist, but I mean, my
I've been
my
on a
final,
wild oh,
yeah. Do you have
I was just
ideas
saying
of what her name is?
just been down some wild ass rabbit holes.
Okay.
Uh okay, go with me. Oh, this is so
Yeah.
stupid. I desperately want to link this to Asylum. Don't ask me why, but I
Mm-hmm.
desperately want to. We have Harry and Alma. Um, if we
Yeah.
work out some times, I mean, Gardner would not be their last name. It would be Walker. However, he could be going by a different name, because here's the thing. In Asylum, when Grace, I think it was, no, Alma killed Grace, right? And then everything went like fucking bonkers. And Kit ended up with Sister Jude and the kids,
Right.
raising them. There were two kids, though. There was a kid by
Yeah.
Alma, and there was a kid by Grace. What if Kit, okay, hold on. What if, because the little boy belonged to Grace, what if that is in some way Harry's bloodline, and in
Right.
some way the chemist is Alma's bloodline? And she became, because listen, at the end of Asylum,
Okay. Okay.
if you remember, they do talk about like what the kids grew up to kind of be, and it was like something like she went into, I don't want to say biology, but something
Oh.
science related.
Okay.
And Harry's dad is a lawyer, and I'm pretty sure that's what the son went on to become. And I could be totally wrong about that, but I'm going down a serious, and when I tell you a serious
Well,
rabbit hole, I'm talking about like
a
tenfold.
serious rabbit hole.
I'm talking about tenfold.
Okay, I love the fact that you brought up Harry's dad because I always took that line as like, why mention who, like, I get that it fit within the conversation he was having with Austin, but it did feel a little bit pointed. It did always stick out to me. Like, why did we need to know the profession of his father? It doesn't really do much else for us. So that's
Yep.
a great point. I want to go down the road with you of trying to figure out how this might connect to Asylum. I mean, we know there's an alien something in Asylum towards the end there. We know that aliens are coming. And I have a feeling that whoever the chemist was working for, that part of the military is going to somehow connect into the second part of the show. So I'm no longer on the train of like this connecting. I was like, oh, the pale people go into the ocean and that's going to be part of the second one, whatever. I think it's going to be this like kind of smaller, subtler connection of the military.
And I love Hear Me War here. A military working with aliens, sourcing the best humans. See, this is the thing.
Right.
They are producing a like enormous talent pool, but it's not just this is only what we've seen so far is I mean a musician, a screenwriter, a playwright, a novelist. I mean, there's probably so many more. I mean, if tuberculosis Karen were to take it, then we'd have a painter.
Painter, yeah,
But there's got to be other talents
for
that
sure.
architecture, I mean, whatever it may be, that
Interior
people
design.
interior design,
Yeah.
something though that someone that's not
Podcasting.
oh, hold on. I forgot to take my pill. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I mean, really, like, there's got to be something that's more blue collar, like, not focused on the
Yeah,
arts that people that take these pills could benefit from.
for sure.
And it almost makes me wonder, though, if somehow Doris gets wrapped up into this and she bursts the first, like, it's almost like the stand like
I
she
mean,
births the
yeah,
first child that in the stand is like immune in so many ways to that strain of
yeah.
to Captain Trips. Like, what if she births a child that just inherently has all of this talent and doesn't even need the pills? I don't know.
Yes.
I'm being
Yeah.
crazy here.
Well, I
Potentially.
have also started thinking, like, what if Doris were to take the pill and then she's all of a sudden really good at design, but it's actually her baby that's super talented, but she
I
doesn't
love it.
find out that she sucks until she gives birth.
And then she gives birth, and they're like, "We actually didn't need you. We just needed you to like
Yeah.
incubate this child."
Thank you so
It's
much.
like
Yeah.
Children of the Corn.
I think I'm now experiencing the thing that you always experience where I cannot see the comments that are coming in. So I know
Oh
that
no.
you said
Okay.
Hear Me Roar said something about military, so I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump on the comment there. I just couldn't see it.
No, you're good. So, yeah, she basically just said military working with aliens, sourcing the best humans,
Right.
which is what got me to jumpstart on this could be, and this could be the grand. Because here's the thing, Alma and Grace were both abducted by the aliens. Kit
Hmm.
too, the three of them, but they produced these children
Yeah.
that were obviously meant to be born and do something in the world. So it just seems like yeah, it just seems like it should be connected in some way. And I would
Yeah.
feel so foolish if it's not. I mean, it's probably Ryan Murphy's way of being like, let's just pepper in the kind of stuff that get people. But the way that
It's
these seasons are
possible.
supposed to all somehow intertwine, though,
Yeah. And I mean, this would be the opportunity to do it. There are, like, they've already told us that it's going to be something to do with aliens, so why not make the connection? But there is just something about that line about the names being just for nostalgia, I guess. I mean, it could just be a wink and a nod at us, and they're still going to do something with it. But for some reason, I'm like, oh, that's all we're getting, isn't it? Like, you're just going to fucking poke at us, and that's all we're going to get. But I'm
probably.
willing to keep my mind open about it. I think they could be connected still. Yeah.
Uh, I can't wait. And I mean, yeah, just I know I've said it, but it's truly heartbreaking because at first I was like, these pale people are they're a menace. They are polluting this town. And I'm telling you, it did such a 180 to where I was like,
Yeah.
this is fucked up. Like
Yeah.
this should not be something that is played with, with people and their dreams
Yeah.
and what it does to
That's what
them.
I
It
mean. That's why
just
I think it
got
was such a
me.
good idea to include the pale person's backstory as well. Like we got such a rounded view of everything.
Yeah.
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 I'm
Oh,
so excited for the next two.
me too. I can't wait.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. Like I said,
Oh,
like even at the end of this episode, it was another one where I was like, is it next Wednesday yet? Like I just want to see the next episode. I can't wait to like sit down at this live and talk about it with everybody. And it's so good to have that feeling again.
Yeah, for sure. Henry Ward did say it feels like it could definitely be related. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard. It's just hard not to. It's just hard not to think that.
Oh, for
But
sure. And
we've been
especially since
fooled.
apocalypse.
Apocalypse.
I mean, apocalypse really laid the foundation for the idea that all of this is connected somehow. So,
Well, it actually started with Freak Show because Pepper was at
oh my God,
St.
great
was at
point.
Jude's,
Yeah,
was at
yeah,
Briarcliff, and then
yeah,
in Freak Show we found out it's because she killed her niece or
yeah,
nephew when she
yeah.
really didn't. But
Great point.
yeah, so I'm excited
I mean, you could
though.
tell me so many things about Freak Show, and I'd be like, I'm sure that happened. I don't remember because it sucks. So, you know.
Well, I blocked a lot of it out, but when it comes to
Yeah.
Pepper, I remember.
That's
Okay, I
fair.
love
That's
her.
fair. I
I love
respect that. I
her.
respect that.
Yeah. So
All right. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap up. We did this in an
yeah,
hour and a half. I'm very proud of us.
we're
We
knocking
did
it down
good.
30 minutes at a time.
Yeah. Well, thank you to everyone who came out tonight. Thank you to everyone who's watching later and everyone who's listening later. We so appreciate it. We're having so much fun. And if you want to chat more about the season, like slide into the Damn Fine DMs. Yeah, Damn Fine DMs. I don't know why that sounded so weird, but it's correct. Uh, yeah, we'd love to have more of a chat about it. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for hearing me roar. You're the best too. We
yeah,
are
you're the
very
best.
excited.
I hope you
You're very
enjoy
welcome.
your 10 o'clock snack since you had dinner so early.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So, and then we'll be back in a couple of weeks with more. And
Yeah.
then obviously check out the pod because we've got new episodes coming out. And I just want to leave it with please do support your local coven. Okay. We're out here struggling.
Thank you
Okay.
so much. Thank you so much. That's great
Support us.
advice. That's great advice.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.